Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the United Nations. On behalf of the Israeli mission to the UN, let me thank you for coming tonight to this special screening of the film One Day in September, in memory of the 11 Israeli Olympians who were murdered in the 1972 Munich Olympic Games. Next week, with the opening of the 2016 Summer Olympics in Rio de Janeiro, we will mark 44 years since this dark day in the history of the Olympic Games. To open this evening's program, it is my honor to introduce the permanent representative of the State of Israel to the United Nations, Ambassador Dani Danon.
Shalom, Excellencies, distinguished guests, friends, thank you very much for coming. Tonight it is a very important night for us, a very important memorial for the people of Israel, and we appreciate all of you that came today to remember this great national tragedy, the massacre of the 11 Israeli athletes at the 1972 Munich Olympic Games. Your presence truly demonstrates your friendship with the people and with the State of Israel. Michal, we are so happy you could be here with us today. I know it was not an easy flight, and you made it. Your father, Kehat, who was the shooting coach, and his fellow Olympians were murdered because they represented the State of Israel. Their memory lives on in the hearts of the Israelis, and the memory of your father lives on in your son, Kehat, who is here with us today, with his son, the grandson of Kehat. We thank you for coming today. Thank you for being here, and thank you for speaking and honoring the 11 fallen athletes. Ladies and gentlemen, next week, all of us will watch in the television the opening of the Olympics game. The attention of the world will be not here at the UN, it will be in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, for the opening of the Summer Olympic Games. It is indeed a time of great excitement when athletes from every country come together to put forward their best performance, to represent their country, and to go for the gold. Israel will, of course, be there as well. We will send 47 men and women, Jews and Arabs, who will go to Rio to fulfill their dreams of competing in the Olympics. We hope to get a medal also. The athletes will be wearing the colors of Israel, but they will also be carrying the legacy of the 11 Israelis who were murdered by terrorists in front of the entire world in 1972 in Munich. That is why we are here tonight. That is why we are here tonight. When the world is preparing, we're telling to the world that we should not forget. We should not forget. We should honor the memory of those which we think about them, and we are committed to tell their stories. In the movie we are screening here this evening, you will see what happened. 44 years ago, you will see images, you will hear testimonies, you will hear the personal accounts of the tragedy. You will see how the world moved on, how the games continued immediately, while at the time the State of Israel went into mourning. My friends, I have to tell you, it is not an easy movie to watch, but it is very important that everyone sees it. The Olympics represents the hope for a world coming together in peace and friendship, a world without wars, without conflicts, and without the hatred that divides people and nations. But this hope was shattered in Munich, when terror invaded the Olympic Village and struck at the symbol of peace. And unfortunately, we are all aware of that the threat of terror is still with us today, everywhere, not only in Israel. So tonight, as the new Olympic torch is about to arrive to its final destination in Brazil, let us carry this light and the values it stands for against the forces of darkness, and let us light a candle in memory of the 11 Israeli athletes who stood proudly for the state of Israel and represented the best of what the Olympics is all about. May their memory be blessed. Yehi zichram baruch.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Danon, for those moving words. As you've heard, Michal Shachar, the daughter of Kehat Shor, the shooting coach of the 1972 Israeli Olympic team, and one of the victims of massacre, is here with us today. We're so grateful that she could be here today to represent the families of the victims who have been so active in carrying on their legacy. And now, I would like to invite her here to say a few words. Michal?
Good evening, and thank you all for coming here this evening. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to Mr. Ambassador Dani Danon and to the Permanent Mission of Israel to the UN for organizing this event, especially to Michal Carmeli. My name, as you heard, is Michal Shachar, born Shor, the daughter of Kehat Shor, coach of the Israeli Olympic shooting team. I am a mother of two, a son whose name is Kehat after my father, and a daughter, Adi. My son Kehat honors me with his presence here this evening, together with his son Barak, who is the first grandson born to the victims of Munich massacre. My son Kehat has two other kids waiting for him back home. My daughter Adi decided after her marriage to adopt the last name Shor for her whole family in order to honor my father and carry on the family name. They now have two wonderful kids. I am proud to be the grandmother and mother of this wonderful family, a family that my father never got to know. Fortunately, my 92-year-old mother can share the joy of having this family with us. I myself had the privilege to know my father. He walked me to the aisle in my wedding day and raised me to be the person I am today. Not so fortunate were 4 orphans among the 14 left by the victims of the Munich massacre who had never had a chance to know their father, Romano, Weinberg, Shapira, and Spitzer. We all became one big family, the family of the murdered Israeli Olympians. My father Kehat was born in Romania. He dedicated himself to shooting competitions and coaching and became an expert in the field. We made Aliyah to Israel in September '63, when my father was appointed the coach of the Israeli Olympic team. 9 years later, in September '72, he was taken hostage and murdered by the Palestinian Black September terrorist group at the Olympic Games. I remember till this day that awful morning when I woke up and switched the radio on to listen to the news, as we Israeli always do. I heard that terrorists had taken over the Israeli residence at the Olympic Village and held hostages. Later that day, I was told that my father was among the hostages. Sadly, the two last reminders I have from my father are two pictures. In the first one, my father and Andrei Spitzer are standing at the balcony with their hands tied, and the gun is pointed at their heads. In the second one, my father is tied to a chair in a helicopter together with his friends, all of them shot to death. The second helicopter, in where the rest of his friends were kept, was later burned to ground by terrorist grenades. 9 of the hostages were killed in those helicopters. 2 others, Romano and Weinberg, were tortured and murdered in front of their friends inside the Olympic Village. Unfortunately, not much has changed. We sadly witness today how the terror continues, both in the United States and Europe. I wish to take this opportunity to send my condolences to the victims' families and wish they never know sorrow. Some say the Munich massacre was the opening shot for all terrorist attacks. It is said the world failed to learn this lesson. I truly hope we will succeed doing so in the future. The 2016 Olympic Games are especially important to me. It is the first time in 44 years that the Olympic Committee will honor my father and his friends by conducting a memorial service for those 11 Israeli athletes who were murdered by Black September terrorist group. To commemorate this occasion, a special stone was brought from Greece on which the names of all the victims had been engraved. As a final note, I wish great success to all athletes participating in the Olympic Games. Let's hope they will accomplish their best in fair competition with their peers, regardless of color, race, faith, or ideological beliefs. And may they have the strength and willingness to achieve their goals and never let terror or anything else take over. Thank you again for giving me this opportunity to speak here. Let's stand united and let the Games begin in peace and harmony. Good evening, all.
Thank you very much, Michal, for those moving words. I'd like to invite Ambassador Danon to join you to light a memorial candle in the memory of your father, Kahat, and his fellow Olympians. I'd like to ask Michal's son, Kahat, and grandson, Barak, to join us at the podium, please. And now, can I ask everyone to please rise for a moment of silence to honor the memory of the fallen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You can take your seats. The film we'll be watching tonight, One Day in September, is an Academy Award-winning film which won the prestigious award for the Best Documentary Feature in the year 2000. The Mission of Israel would like to thank the film's producer, Arthur Cohen, for making it available for this special event. Thank you all once again for coming.